My name is Elena, and for a long time, I felt like I was walking on a road where everyone else was moving faster than me. Everywhere I looked, people seemed to be reaching places I had not reached yet, achieving things I had not achieved yet. Slowly, without even noticing, a quiet pressure began to grow inside my chest. It was not loud, it was not painful, but it was always there, gently reminding me that maybe I should be further ahead by now. I started to feel this quiet pressure in my late 20s. It did not come from one big moment. It came from small things, repeated again and again. A photo of an old friend smiling next to a new house. A message about someone getting married. A conversation at work about promotions, plans, and future goals. None of these things were bad. In fact, I was happy for the people in those moments. But after each one, I would sit quietly and feel a strange heaviness inside, as if something in my life was moving more slowly than it should. My life was simple and steady. I lived in a small apartment on the third floor of an old building, with a narrow balcony that faced a quiet street. Every morning, sunlight entered my room in the same soft way, touching the floor and the edge of my bed. I worked in an office not far from home. The job was stable, it paid enough. My coworkers were kind. If someone asked me how I was doing, I could easily smile and say I was fine, and in many ways, I was. But deep inside, I carried a quiet feeling that I could not explain. Each morning, I woke up before my alarm. For a few seconds, there was only silence. Those moments felt calm, almost peaceful. But soon, my thoughts would begin to move. I would think about the day ahead, about my responsibilities, about time. Time was always present in my mind. I felt it passing, even when I was doing nothing. I felt it in birthdays that came too quickly, in years that seemed shorter than the ones before, and slowly, without planning to, I began to measure my life by what I had not done yet. I noticed that I often compared myself to people my age. Some had started businesses, some had built families, some had traveled far and shared beautiful photos of their lives. I did not feel jealous. I simply felt late. The feeling was quiet but persistent, like a soft voice that spoke when everything else was silent. It would say, "You should be further by now." I tried to ignore it. I told myself that everyone had a different path. I told myself that life was not a race, but the voice returned again and again. At lunch, I listened to conversations about the future. Plans for new projects, ideas about changing careers, stories about moving to new cities. I smiled and joined in, but inside, I felt like I was standing still while others were moving forward. In the evening, when I returned home, I often sat quietly for a while before doing anything else. The room was still. The street outside was calm. In that silence, my thoughts grew louder. I wondered if I had made the right choices. I wondered if I had missed chances without realizing it. One night, after a long day, I lay on my bed and scrolled slowly through my phone. There were more photos, more good news, more stories of people building lives that looked full and exciting. After a while, I turned the phone off and placed it beside me. I stared at the ceiling in the dim light. For the first time, I allowed myself to feel what had been quietly growing inside me. It was not sadness, it was not fear. It was something in between. A feeling that I was somehow behind, even though no one had told me I was. A few weeks later, I met an old friend for coffee. We had not seen each other in years. My friend spoke quickly, sharing stories about a busy job, long days, and many responsibilities. From the outside, her life sounded full and successful, but as the conversation slowed, I noticed something in her face, a kind of tiredness that did not come from work alone. At one point, she paused and looked down at her cup. In a quiet voice, she said, "Sometimes I feel like I am always running, but I do not even know where I am trying to go." That sentence stayed in my mind long after we said goodbye. On my walk home, the city felt different. The evening air was cool. The lights in the windows around me looked warm and still. I kept thinking about those words, always running, not knowing where to go. I realized that I had been feeling something similar, but in another way. I was not running fast, but inside, I was always pushing myself, always feeling that I needed to catch up. The next morning, I woke up and did not reach for my phone. I sat quietly on the edge of my bed and listened to the silence in the room. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, a different thought appeared. It was simple, but it felt new. What if there was no race at all? The idea felt strange. I had spent so many years thinking I needed to move faster, achieve more, do something bigger. But who had decided that? No one had given me a deadline. No one had told me I was late. The pressure had grown quietly inside me, shaped by comparisons and expectations I had never questioned. That day, I walked to work more slowly than usual. I noticed small details I normally ignored. The sound of footsteps on the pavement, the way the light touched the tops of buildings, the quiet feeling of moving through the morning without rushing. Nothing in my life had changed, but the way I saw it felt slightly different. For the first time in a long while, I was not thinking about how far I still had to go. I was simply present in the moment I was living. In the following weeks, I began to pay attention to the parts of my life I had stopped noticing. The taste of warm tea at night, the comfort of sitting by the window after work, the feeling of finishing a task, even a small one. These were not big achievements, but they felt real. They felt honest. And slowly, the quiet voice inside me began to change. It no longer said that I was behind. Instead, it asked softer questions. What do you want to learn? What would make you feel alive? What would you try if you were not afraid of being late? One afternoon, while cleaning my closet, I found an old notebook from years ago. Inside, I had written small dreams and ideas. Some were simple, some were uncertain. I read them slowly, smiling at the person I used to be. I noticed that many of those dreams were still possible. They had not disappeared. I had only forgotten about them while trying to keep up with what I thought I was supposed to do. That evening, I sat by my window and held the notebook in my hands. The city was quiet. The sky was turning dark. I realized that I did not need to change everything at once. I did not need to make a big decision. I only needed to stop treating my life like a race. I could take one step at a time. I could learn slowly. I could try new things without needing them to be perfect. A few days later, something small happened at work. A new project opened, and my manager asked if anyone wanted to join. Normally, I would have stayed quiet, telling myself I was not ready. But this time, I remembered the thought that had been growing inside me. If life is not a race, then there is no perfect moment to begin, so I raised my hand. My voice was calm, and my heart was steady. It was not a dramatic moment, but it felt important. The days that followed were not easy. There were moments of doubt, moments when I felt slow again, moments when I saw others moving quickly and felt that old pressure return. But now I understood something I had not understood before. Progress does not always look big. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is just the courage to try something new without comparing yourself to anyone else. One evening, as I walked home, I saw people passing by in different directions. Some walked fast, some walked slowly, some looked confident, some looked lost. And suddenly, I felt a deep sense of calm. Everyone was moving at their own pace. No one was truly ahead. No one was truly behind. We were all just living our lives in different ways. I stopped for a moment and took a deep breath. The air felt cool and gentle. I realized that I had spent so many years feeling late, when in truth, I had simply been living my life in my own time. Nothing was missing. Nothing was wasted. I was still growing, still learning, still becoming the person I was meant to be. If you sometimes feel like life is moving too fast around you, pause for a moment and listen to your own rhythm. You do not have to run. You do not have to compare. Your path does not need to look like anyone else's. There is no finish line you must reach before a certain age. There is only the quiet journey that belongs to you. Your life is not a race. It is a long road that unfolds step by step, day by day. And sometimes, moving slowly is not a sign of falling behind. Sometimes, it is a sign that you are finally learning how to live at a pace that feels true. If this story touched you, take a moment to reflect or share your thoughts below. Subscribe to Inner Voice English for more calm English stories.